Welcome back to the second quarter of the Bobby Dupre Show, along with Andrew Guitros,
Good morning.
sidekick. And we were talking about David Como going to work with Courtesy Motors on Johnston Street. Courtesy Motors has different brands, and the two brands that they spotlight at this particular Courtesy Motors on Johnston is GMC and Buick. So he's got plenty to sell, and he'd like to talk to you.
There you go.
And let's see here. We talked about the Zydeco, and of course, I think the weather was permissible on
Saturday was a little damp, but when you got out that evening, I'm sure it was good, and Sunday had to be just right.
Yeah, had to be just right. And they had vowed that the festival would go on, rain or shine. That sounds like the old ads in the mail.
That's right, the postman.
Postal service used to be that. And we were talking about the Ragin' Cajuns football team. And actually, you're going to see a betterment, an improvement in all of their programs because the people are really being motivated. I see where the Sonic chain has come out with a Cajun burger. And nosy like I am, I went over there.
You ordered you one?
I ordered me one, and I'll tell you.
It's got the logo on the bread.
On the bread.
And you eat it too.
And you eat it, and I'll tell you what, that was a good hamburger. So
there you go.
We want to thank the people who came up with this idea over at Sonic. Sonic is a well-known chain, and in Opelousas here, very popular.
Well, it has Tabasco mayonnaise on it, and I also understand it's got Tony Chachere's seasoning on the burger as well.
Yep, right here.
So there you go.
Tabasco brand, spicy mayonnaise, and a side packet of Tony Chachere's Creole seasoning.
Very good.
So it spreads. The happiness spreads.
Winning fixes everything.
You're gonna see the whole program improving as time goes.
How about this Friday night, September the 7th, 6:30 p.m. St. Landry Catholic Church is the anniversary mass of Father LaFleur's death. It's Lieutenant Father LaFleur. A lot of you know his history, that he was a chaplain in the Army Air Corps and went down in a POW boat at the end of the Second World War. But know all the things about his life, things he did at New Iberia, where they have a big following behind him still. Over here at St. Landry Catholic Church, the huge monument. He was just recently inducted into the Louisiana Military Hall of Fame, is my understanding. And so if you want to come by 6:30 p.m., the celebrant's going to be Bishop Provost from Lake Charles.
Okay, we have some pictures.
We do.
And
how about this one?
One of them is
young folks?
well, we can get these young people right here. Sunday, Vicki and I drove over to New Roads, False River. And she wanted to go and eat at Morel's Restaurant on the river. And I'm telling you, a real nice facility. You're sitting right there next to the river, and real good food, great service. And you see the smiles that they all have right there. On the left is Nikki, and next, the young gentleman right next to Nikki is Zach. And then next to Zach is Casey, and then the owner of the facility, he and the family, is Major Morel. And I just want to compliment them on the friendliness, the staff, and the delicious food that they served us.
And we got a beautiful sunset over Tiger Stadium.
And that was sent to me by Jimmy Lopez. Babs and Jim Lopez's young son enjoying the game and thought about my sunsets. We try to have a sunset every week, and just look at it. I mean, it looks good right here on the computer, but can you imagine on one of these 60-inch high-def
That's right.
TVs?
Which I know a lot of people watching that. That's how they watch us in the morning in high definition.
That's correct. And so we need to kind of start shaping up there.
How about this picture?
And that's what the picture while you were talking about the death and the honors that Lieutenant Father Verbus LaFleur recently received. The gentleman sitting down in this picture here, Mr. Johnny Raymond, very highly decorated officer in the Second World War.
Right.
He and I guess, is it General LeBlanc? Lieutenant, I think he's a general, LeBlanc. The two of them they began working on that. We went to take a picture of them over at the
They're working on
memorial.
Down in your Iberia?
No, right here, the burial ground on Highway 182.
Oh, at Bellevue.
Bellevue.
Bellevue Memorial.
Bellevue Memorial. I could see it, and I just couldn't get that word out. And that was the first time that I had personally met Mr. Johnny Raymond.
And he was a ranger, I believe.
He was, yes. He was the ranger, according to the people in Thailand. They had him go over there just a few years ago, recent years. They honored him for what he had done
personally.
Yeah,
it wasn't just his group; it was him that
they were. And the people that are in this picture here, Mike Huval on the left, a state representative. Next to him is State Representative Pierre. Next to Pierre would be Miss Courtney Raymond, Mr. Johnny's lovely wife. And then you knew him when he was playing basketball.
That's Rudy Macklin. Rudy Mack from LSU.
From LSU days. And the gentleman all the way in the back is Bo Williford with the Ragin' Cajun Boxing Club. And I'm supposed to have lunch, I think, next Tuesday with Kerry Daigle, Bo Williford, and Glenn Armentar in the Lafayette
Rudy
area.
Macklin was Mr. Kentucky in basketball when he was a kid growing up, and he signed with LSU instead of Kentucky.
Oh, man, they didn't like that, I bet.
Didn't go over too well. How about a handful more photos? I'm going to just show these real quick. My little girl's over at the new school there, that Louisiana School of Arts and Sciences and Math over in Natchitoches. And I just wanted to show a quick picture, of course, of her. Can't miss that.
My godchild.
That's right.
She gets a little preference on this show.
Austin Guidro's Good Morning. But also that there were a bunch of the representatives and senators that were there. And Senator Elbert Lee Gilroy couldn't make it, but he had a resolution passed on the floor, I guess, for each of the kids in his district that are attending there as part of their entrance ceremony to start at the school. I just thought it was a really, really nice touch. His chief of staff, Mike Dupre, was there to give out the award. You know, Senator's very busy right now with them working on all the problems with the hurricane and getting the funding to help those people in a bond. So he got Mike to go instead. But I just thought that was great. And I also got a picture of Miss Chloe Latoul, who's also in school with Austin over there in Natchitoches with her father, Ryan Latoul, and her grandmother, Phyllis. And I guess her grandfather, Chris, I guess he had to work at the shop. He didn't get to make that trip.
Somebody had to stay home.
That's right. So good morning, everybody there as well.
And
how about some sponsors? I got to get some sponsors
in.
Let's go with the Steamboat Warehouse. Get Mama away from the smell of her own cooking. Go down to the Steamboat Warehouse. All the great seafood dishes, great Angus steaks there as well. But a lot of the seafood and a lot of the different items there are Louisiana grown, hand-picked by our own chef owner, Jason Hugay, over there at the Steamboat Warehouse. Great adult libations and a beautiful wine list. Enjoy yourself out on the nice wharf and overlooking Bayou Catawba. And how about another sponsor? Let's talk about Targill Seasonings. If you're looking for seasonings for your outdoor kitchen, if you're looking for seasonings because you're a restaurant or if you're a store, maybe you want to package your own seasoning with your own labels and all that, they can handle all that for you at Targill. They also do butcher supplies, cutlery, and kitchen supplies as well. Go to Targill, targill.com.
Every now and then we find something that Smiley Anders, who writes a column daily for the Morning Advocate over in Baton Rouge, a paper that I've been receiving ever since Mr. Cortez, Wilfred Cortez, started delivering in newspaper, the Morning Advocate newspaper, into Acadiana area, the whole Acadiana. Anyhow, this is an adventure, it says, in the news business. This young boy was delivering a newspaper, and he collected for the week was 30 cents, and he got to keep 5 cents of the 30 cents. And he recalled very vividly the incident that would take place over with one of his customers. The one lady, if her paper was ever blown by the wind, would pay in pennies thrown into the yard. And she'd say, "May, that's where I got my paper, so that's where you got to get your money." And no wonder, he says, I started mowing yards for $2 with a rotary push mower. And this is BOBBY Avenue. I can't place Bo, but I'm sure Steve B. Avenue and the B. Avenue, Paul B. Avenue, and all of those, they're kin to one of those, or they know him. So anyhow, I thought that was kind of cute. Me, yeah, that's where I got my paper. You find your pennies.
Your money's in the same spot.
Yep.
We've got an art class coming up at the Delta Grand Theater with artist Jerome Ford. A lot of you have seen Jerome Ford's work around the parish, a lot of different art shows that have gone on. He's got a degree in arts from LSU. On September 11th, there'll be a beginner's arts class at 6:30 p.m. The following week will be these are Tuesday nights at 6:30. September 18th, they'll do an intermediate class, and then the following week, they'll do an advanced class. $25 for one class, $75 for all three. Go to deltagrandtheater.com.
A recent death was Mr. Aubrey Jefferson Bassett, Jr., and I met Mr. Bassett over at Cornerstone Nursing Home while visiting my brother while John was still alive over in Lafayette. And I got to meet some of the members, the wife and some of the members of the family, because his son was there. And of course, his son is Jeff Bassett, who is a successful attorney here in Opelousas. He and his wife, Sisette, live here in Opelousas. He has daughters, Kathy and Liz, and then I guess Jeff is the only son. But got to knowing them, and I want to compliment the Bassett family and my family of the great care that they provided for their loved ones in those final days, and also at the same time compliment Cornerstone Nursing Home. And we can compliment young Christian Williford. Bo's son works there, and it got real close to my brother John, and both of them came over to the wake.
How about another sponsor? Let's talk about Piggly Wiggly. You can get groceries at the Three Little Pigs with locations in Simsport and 2 in Opelousas, one on the south end of town, one on the north end of town. They've got good meats there, and it runs specials 7 days a week. Go by, the pig knows best. And don't forget, the southern location also handles catering, all your catering needs.
Another person that died, and I had not seen him in a long time, but was very, very active, going way, way back in the horse racing industry, back when they had the Sunday afternoon match races. And then, of course, early on at Evangeline Downs, when it opened in 1966. And the person I'm speaking of that recently passed was Shelton J., and everybody knew him as Pete LeBlanc, S.J. Pete LeBlanc. And so to his family, I had not seen him in a long time, and maybe I was seeing him and didn't recognize him. But anyhow, our deepest sympathies to on his recent death.
We're down at the inner halftime right here, folks, on radio and on television. We're going to have a lot more stuff going on. We'll talk to y'all on the other half of 1 minute.